What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and tonight we're going to be talking about Season 2 Reloaded for Black Ops 6, the content to expect, plus even more. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, as a big reminder, we just launched the Detonated YouTube channel earlier this week. We have 2 video series to kick off the channel, and some bonus videos that you'll see along the way in between. Any support on that channel is, of course, appreciated. Once again, thank you for 1,000 subscribers on that second channel. With that, let's start with the release date for the mid-season 2 update. So, surprisingly, we're only around 13 days away from the launch of the mid-season. That's at least if they're going to be following a similar schedule to what we saw with Season 1, and if they're also following a similar schedule to what Modern Warfare followed over the last 2 years. So typically, Modern Warfare would wait a good 4 weeks from the start of a season before releasing the Reloaded update. Black Ops 6 has done things a little bit different, where they've kickstarted Reloaded 3 weeks after the new season has started. Now, is it possible that Black Ops 6 goes back to that Modern Warfare type schedule where they wait an exact month? In that case, we would be looking at a release date of around February the 27th. And that's a Thursday, right? If they want to do things on a Tuesday, like we saw with the start of Season 1 and 2, then that would be around February 25th. However, the current playlist calendar for Warzone does end on February 20th, and something we've seen time and time again is that the playlist calendar for Warzone often indicates when the first half of the season is set to come to an end. That's, of course, if they give us enough context and several weeks worth of playlist updates, which in this case, they just clarified that they're not going to be changing the Warzone playlist until the 20th, when presumably a big LTM is going to be added to multiplayer Warzone and Zombies, as we'll get into in a second. So with the February 20th release date being very likely for Reloaded, that's also what a lot of insiders and data miners are currently claiming, so take that as you may, then it looks like marketing for the mid-season could be around maybe February 11th through the 13th. Keep in mind, as I covered in a separate video this morning, the Shadow Hunt Challenge event is set to begin on February 13th, and unless they follow something that MW3 did a couple of different times, then I don't think they're going to end up marketing a new update on the day an event begins. Modern Warfare 3 did that a number of times, and it really wasn't too beneficial for the hype and momentum for that event. Now, I'm predicting that next week, along with Valentine's Day and the Shadow Hunt Challenge event, they're going to end up teasing the crossover for the mid-season 2 update, and then we'll probably end up getting a blog post and roadmap for the mid-season, maybe on Monday the 17th. Then again, that's President's Day, technically a holiday. I'm just not sure if they would market on a day like that. I mean, we got a Squid Game crossover trailer on Christmas Day, so who knows at this point, right? But something we've seen before is that mid-season updates would get marketed the week of release, just a day or two before the actual start date. So I'll keep you guys posted, of course, here on the channel and over on Detonated once we do learn more information. But don't forget, for any missed event rewards, you can access the Armory at any time to go ahead and complete XP challenges to unlock any gameplay-specific items that you may have missed during a previous event. This, of course, doesn't include any cosmetic rewards or any type of crossover content, as we recently saw with the Squid Game event pass, but there is going to be the St. Patrick's Day Clover Craze event, which begins at some point in March, and by default, that's going to be after the start of Season 2 Reloaded. We don't know much about the event itself, apart from the number of rewards that you can see mentioned here in this blog post. We're going to have to go ahead and collect 4-leaf clovers upon getting eliminations in multiplayer and zombies, and probably by opening up chests over in Warzone, we'll then be able to exchange those clovers for various St. Patrick's themed items. I'm sure we'll get a good glimpse of those items once the mid-season begins, and inevitably you get some of those Twitter folks that force load the event into their game early. But going into March, we're also going to be celebrating the 5-year anniversary of Warzone, and Verdansk to be specific. Obviously, they already confirmed at COD Next that Verdansk is going to return at some point in spring 2025, and technically speaking, spring 2025 is going to fall into the Season 3 bracket as far as the Call of Duty schedule goes, so I think it's pretty obvious at this point, which also aligns with what insiders are saying, that Verdansk isn't actually going to come back into Warzone Battle Royale until our 3rd season after the 5-year anniversary. But I wouldn't rule out seeing some type of free bundle or gift pack release featuring some blueprints or other themed cosmetics to celebrate the big milestone that people are going to be celebrating. Now, when it comes to perks and wildcards releasing here inside of Season 2 Reloaded, we first up have the Hunter's Instinct perk, which is going to be for multiplayer. We're not sure how you unlock it. It could very well be locked behind the St. Patrick's Day event, because it is considered an event reward, or it could be a part of another event that has yet to be announced. It's in perk slot 2, an Enforcer perk, and what it says is eliminating an enemy will mark the next closest enemy. That sounds pretty dangerous, and I wouldn't be shocked if something like this ends up getting nerfed if it ends up being too overpowered, like some of the other perks we saw, such as Recon, when Black Ops 6 left its beta stage. Now, we also have the Fly Swatter Wildcard coming in season. We're not sure how we could unlock it, but it says it allows a player to replace their dedicated melee with a launcher. This is also huge for those out there that are camo grinding with launchers and figured, hey, I can run a primary, normal secondary like a pistol, as well as the launcher at the same time. That's going to be pretty wild. But the next up, we have a perk that is exclusive to Warzone, and that is the low profile perk. So it says you are able to move more quickly while crouched and prone, move slightly faster when downed as well. It doesn't exactly say how we're going to unlock this, but totally a possibility that when we end up booting up the mid-season 2 update, it'll actually tell us what event this is tied to, or what the unlock criteria is with this perk, which could be tied to something that we don't even know about yet. But moving into multiplayer maps, we're actually getting 2 with the start of Reloaded. The first one is Bullet, a map that I'm really excited about. It's going to be a strike experience on a literal bullet train. I believe the train may be moving based on some of the gameplay that's already been teased through some of the marketing, and it seems like a pretty straightforward map where it's just one lane. You can see all the train carts in a row, but you can get on top of the train, which I guess could move the action elsewhere in the case things get too hectic. This might end up being the go-to map, maybe even over Stakeout. We'll just have to wait and see when it comes to camo grinding, because right now, if you want to get anything done, you're probably going into face-off to do so. You don't want to be on any bigger space to get what you have to get done. But we also have a regular 6v6 map, and that is Grind. This is a reimagined map from the original Black Ops 2. It was a DLC map in that game that also got remastered faithfully in Black Ops 4, and that map released for free with Days of Summer. But here with the new iteration of Grind, it got a bit of a fresh coat of paint. It's nothing too different as far as aesthetics, but I do believe they chose a skate park for a specific reason when it comes to the mid-season 2 update. I'm pretty sure it's connected to the crossover that we're going to end up seeing. But when it comes to weaponry, they already confirmed a new launcher is on the way for the mid-season. They didn't exactly describe what it They didn't exactly reveal what kind of launcher it is, other than the fact that it's a rip-roaring weapon, and I really get the feeling like it's going to be the D13 sector. The teasers really give me that vibe. Obviously, that was a futuristic weapon that we saw in Black Ops 3. I believe it was also added to COD Mobile, so I'd be curious to see how a weapon like this will end up functioning on some of the face-off maps, right? Real close-quarters experiences. That might be a frustrating weapon to go ahead and use, but the cool thing is, it'll be considered a special, so if you've already grinded all your camos on the Sarin 9mm, but not your other launchers, grinding camos on this weapon will allow you to have quote-unquote completed the entire launcher category by just doing the Sarin and then whatever this launcher is. They also confirmed the belt-fed attachment. It's going to be a special weapon attachment that apparently will work with LMGs. All they said on the blog is that you can add an extreme amount of ammo that's continuously fed to the weapon through sustained fire. The weapon may overheat, so allow it to cool off and then before resuming your barrage of damage. Once again, as a reminder, this was an operator mod in Black Ops 4 for the Cordite. But several melee weapons have also leaked out, and it can't be a coincidence as to why. We have the Katana, which is heavily emphasized in the marketing for Season 2. We then have the Sais, the Nunchucks, and even a bow staff. Rumors of a skateboard melee also surfaced, which doesn't really surprise me considering we're going to be getting a grind in multiplayer with the mid-season update. So what do you guys think about when you hear about those melee weapons, right? TMNT. So it is inevitable that we end up seeing a crossover with a very popular 90s property, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And the cool thing is, Call of Duty already crossed over with that property back in Modern Warfare 2 through the Shredder operator bundle that released with Ashika Island. Now, is it possible they end up bringing that operator over from Warzone into Black Ops 6? I wouldn't doubt it, especially if they end up adding a new skin for Shredder through a potential event pass. If there's an event pass like we got with Squid Game, then certainly expect a free track with probably the set of melee weapons that I just mentioned, followed by maybe a free operator skin or two, maybe a cosplay outfit for the Foot Clan or April O'Neil's jacket. Who knows? And then I'm sure in the premium track, it'll probably be similar to Squid Game, where it's essentially just a half-price bundle. So instead of seeing a half-price frontman bundle through the Squid Game event pass, maybe we end up seeing a Master Splinter premium track, and it's essentially 1,100 COD points for what would have been a 2,400 COD point bundle. We'll have to wait and see. I really don't feel like the Turtles will be a part of that kind of pass, unless they are, and the pass is more expensive. I think they'll probably end up just dropping all the Turtles in a very expensive bundle that may cost upwards of of like 3,000 COD points, if not more, especially if they're all voiced. We do have a bundle coming out this season, which does cost 3,300 COD points. Crazy, crazy expensive, but would certainly expect operator skins for Leo, Raph, Donnie, and even Mikey. But over in Zombies, we're going to be seeing directed mode support for the Tomb, as well as an LTM that Treyarch claims you do not want to miss. I do believe with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle collaboration, you'll probably end up seeing an LTM in just about every experience, like we saw with Squid Game, except this time they're actually hyping it up a lot more. So I would expect more dev time to have gone into whatever this Turtle LTM is for Zombies, unless it's something else completely that we just don't expect. Very possible that we have to find ooze around our environments that gives us super abilities. Data miners and leakers out there are claiming that apparently there will be some type of LTM that is similar to what we saw for the crossover with the boys. And we got two modes for the boys, right? One for MP and one for Warzone when that event was active. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave our thoughts down below in the comment section. That's everything we know so far about the Season 2 Reloaded update for Black Ops 6 and Warzone, with Season 3 apparently beginning on March 20th. We can expect marketing for that on around the 12th. I'm sure some rumors and leaks will end up popping up for Season 3 once the mid-season does end up dropping in a couple of days. And on top of that too, there'll probably still be quite a few festivities to enjoy with the crossover and everything else while marketing's kicking off for what is bound to be a banger third season as well. Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.